Chronicles TV on air. We are now live in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to another episode of the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. In the previous episode, we completed a summation examination. With today's episode right now, we got a new witness to testify, and that's juror number 4. If you had today's episode, make sure that like button is posted for the show. And let's see what happens. So, Meter Man and Queen B is actually at Queen B, and he's the worker B. Do you think the gas has gone to his head, Mr. Sato? I think the man is just a very dedicated employee, Mr. Naruhodo. Witness's testimony. The Altamont Gas Company's investigation. I'm proud to be the company's East End branch investigator and meter money collection agent. Altamont Gas meters accept threepenny bits, each coin giving customers about 2 hours of gorgeous gas. And yet, the meter in Mr. Shamspeare's room didn't have a single coin in it. And she really has the bee jacket and umbrella and everything. Just look at it. The meter doesn't appear to have been tampered with, though, and the collection agent has the only key. Somehow, he's using all the flaming gas he wants without paying a penny. If that's not demon, what is? Pray forgive this courtesy. The irrelevance of this testimony caused me to turn my hollow chalice. What do you mean by that remark, Lord Von Zykes? Did the mustachio Nipponese poison the gangling excuse for an actor, or didn't he? That is all that should concern the court, and yet now we must listen to this abhorrence. Clearly what separates the vast British Empire and your Eastern Island nation is more than a geographical distance. But this could turn out to be a crucial testimony. The cross-examination must go ahead. Oh, he's throwing the bottle too. Do what you will. Lord Von Zykes appears to be in a violent mood. Yes, he does. An attempted poisoning and an incident of gas theft with no supporting evidence? It's true that they would appear completely unrelated at first glance, but I wonder, the truth tends to be buried in the most unusual places, and the first step is uncovering. Will it be established just who and what this man really is? So what we have to do is either press for more answers and look at the photo. We got 5 of this. Stop talking. I would assume that's the bill or something. Why do we have the old one here? I do not understand. So what is of the lock? That's right there. That's my concern. That's the gas meter. So what's the question on this? I'm at a meter money collection agent. Automatic gas meters accept threepenny bets, each coin giving customers about 2 hours of gorgeous gas. And yet, the meter in Mr. Shamspeare didn't have a single coin in it. The meter doesn't appear to have been tampered with, though, and the collection agent has the only key. Somehow, he's using all the flame gas he wants without paying a penny. Hold it! There's only one key for all you meters? Well, in truth, there's another key in the company vault at our main office. But even someone had somehow managed to get a hold of a key, we know if the coin box had been opened. Oh, how? I came up with a rather clever way to expose any little shenanigans as it happens. Would you care to explain? Well, now, in order to empty a meter, you have to unlock a padlock and remove the cover. And when I close the cover again, I stick a little beeswax seal on it, you see? A seal? Like the sort of thing you put on the envelope, you mean? Something like that, yes. Basically, you can't remove the cover again without breaking the seal. Now, in that case, for Mr. Shamspeare's meter, there were no coins inside at all, as I said. The seal hadn't been broken either. So that would mean Mr. Shamsphere somehow managed to steal coins from the inside the meter without opening it. It would seem so, but that would be impossible. Somehow he's using all the flaming gas he wants without paying a penny. If that's nothing, what is?
Hold it!
Out of interest, how long has this been going on?
Weeks and weeks. He's been pitching gas off for us for ages. Are you examining the meter in Mr. Sham's room, I take it?
Naturally, we took it off the wall and went over it with a fine-tooth comb.
And found nothing suspicious at all, I presume?
No, I'm afraid we didn't. Which is exactly why I demanded a new type of meter to be produced. One with an indestructible lock. The Shamsphere Special. That sounds like it would have cost an awful lot of 3 penny pieces. But even after all that, the rescue meter was still empty.
I'll never forget the humiliation. When I opened up the money box and found it bare. You what? I said, you what? And the look on his face, the smile of his.
Ha!
I pulled the meter straight off the wall and took it back to the office. But you know what? Nothing. Not a trace of being jammed open anywhere, not a single sign. And what's happened to my salary as a result? Down by the 3 shillings a day, that's what.
A life-threatening situation in a number of ways. Incidentally, what became of the meter?
Nothing became of it. I've still got it.
Oh?
Right here.
No wonder they call you Meter Man.
I think it would be prudent for the court to sequester the item while this trial is going.
The gas meter is here, and one of the photo. Definitely. Although at first glance, there doesn't appear to be anything unusual about it.
Let's move this along, shall we? Continue with your testimony. Though I would say it has much value as the contents of that meter. Ugh.
Alright, now that we got the thing, I was about to press on the photo. Okay, this is the thing that we need to investigate. Let's see. What's this? Oh, what's... Have you spotted something, Mr. Naruto? Just here, there's a little hole. Do you see? Goodness, you're right. I wouldn't have noticed. It's not a very neat hole, is it? Not professionally made, I say. So, you think it might have been opened up by Mr. Shamsphere? Possibly. It seems the people at Altamont must have missed it. Well, it certainly seems to go all the way through the inside. Yes, but there's no way a coin could fit through there. That's true, but even so, it seems more than a little suspicious. Alright then. Because you would put your coin here, and that would do the thing, and then you get your meter on. The meter doesn't appear to have been tampered with, though. Okay, we got the thing that we need. Let's say it.
Objection!
There you go. Lady Altamont, I'm afraid to say that this meter clearly does show signs of having been tampered with. What?
Get away! I've been over and over that thing. I'm telling you, there's nothing wrong with it.
In that case, what do you have to say about the small hole that's been made up in the base of the coin box?
Hole? What?
You're right. You're quite right. There's a little hole there. The meters aren't supposed to have that. None of the others do. In other words, we can assume that Mr. Shamsphere secretly opened this hole himself. Yes, I wouldn't be surprised at all, but why?
Yeah, why? I mean, it's tiny. You couldn't get it farther through that.
Lady Altamont, I wonder if you could give the court some more details about your meter design. What sort of details? Well, what I specifically like to know is how it's metal, how it differentiates coins. How does the meter tell the difference between different coins? What do you mean? Well, for example, if someone were to put in 1 penny coin, that wouldn't work presumably, would it? No, of course not. So, well, how does the meter know that coin it's been fed at is a throw penny, huh? Ah, I see what you're getting at now. The meter tells coins apart by their shape and size, which includes the thickness. A threepenny bit is about 3/4 of an inch in diameter, you see. Other coins just won't fit. Ah, I see. It clearly's been very well thought out.
The witness will amend her formal testimony with that information. In that case, it's pertinent.
As you wish, my lord.
The meter is designed for coins to exact diameter and thickness of throwing, but nothing else will fit.
Hold it!
But conversely then, it would seem that anything matching as a 3-piece coin exactly in terms of diameter or thickness could equally be well used.
Would that be true? Well, yes, in a way. The weight comes into the certain extent as well.
Where thought of that, though? Anyway, if I find any fake coins inside the box, when I empty the meter, the contrast says the customer has to pay 100 times the amount they did as far as I find.
Oh, he has a bee bag.
It would seem the gas company has thought of everything. Wahoo! Hooray for gas! Hooray for gas! Altamont all the way!
That's quite enough of that. Remind me, how big are the threepenny bits? About 3/4 of an inch across. What do you think, Mr. Naruto? Is this 2 centimeters measurement significant? Or perhaps there's this other aspect of the meter's construction that we'd be focusing on. Yes, she may be right. Perhaps I should try a different tack here. Like asking about whether the meter can be dismantled, for example. How can the meter be dismantled? Dismantled? Yes, given that there are no signs of having it being forced. I'm wondering if perhaps rather than being broken open, it might have taken apart. Well, yes, that does make some sense. The padlocks are made of first-class locksmith from the finest quality steel, and the meter box itself is made from plate steel as well, welded shut to ensure it can't be opened again. I can assure you it's quite impossible to dismantle it.
Woohoo! Yeah! Nothing leaks from Altamont meter. No coin, no gas, no nothing.
I see.
The witness will amend her formal testimony with that information in the case is pertinent.
As you wish, my lord.
All joints of the meter are welded shut and the lock is made from solid. There's no way to dismantle it.
Okay, I think we kind of messed it up here because we had to delve deep into the idea that it was used. My idea.
Oh yeah, they tried, but they've all given up before long.
After all, if they had actually broke the meter, the company would be able to take legal action. Yes, that makes sense. What do you think? So we have to make sure it's the coin. That's what it is. So that way that's what we need. That's what we needed in this option. So I had the right idea because I think we know what it is, but we need proof. That's what it is. They could have just gave us like an extra one right there.
No, back it up.
This is what we're thinking of right here. Oh, look at this bar of soap. There's a circular depression on this side, about 2 centimeters across. Oh, 3/4 of an inch. Ah, do you think? We did find soap at the scene, didn't we? Yes, there were 2 bars on the little ledge just outside the window. So we took this one. I'm sure that when we first found it, there was some sort of reddish medallion in the middle. I remember clearly, yes, but there's no sign of it now. Where could it have gone?
Alrighty then. Let's do it.
Objection!
Let me just confirm something here. If the diameter and thickness were to be correct, the meter would accept any object as if it were a threepenny bit. Is that correct? Yes, that is correct.
Well, by something a coincidence, my bad if you hear some freaking motorcycle noise.
While we're investigating Mr. Champere's room, we found a particular item that matches the dimensions perfectly. Something the same size as the threepenny bit? What was it? The item in question is this.
What? Have you been inhaling gas? That's a bar of soap.
It certainly looks nothing like a throw penny bit, I must say.
It looks like I'm going to have to point out exactly what I mean here. What's important about the soap is this part here. Move!
Got it!
You have to turn over the soap to see what I mean.
You are referring to the round depression at the middle of the soap there?
That's right, a depression that's approximately 3/4 of an inch in diameter. Or in other words, almost exactly the same size as a throw penny bit. Get away!
Get out of here!
Does anyone here present have the possession of a throw penny bit? Quickly now, hand over your coins, ladies and gentlemen.
It sounds rather like a highway robbery, doesn't it?
Thanks to a kind member of the public in the gallery, I have here a throw penny bit. Now to see if it fits. Oh, word, it couldn't be more snug.
Yes, as I suspected.
This, without a doubt, is a vital clue to explain how the Altamont Gas Company is being defrauded.
Well, I don't believe it.
Hey, he does have a bag. So, your assertion amounts to what? The some inferior bar of soot has tentative connection to the theft of gas?
Yes. The depression in the soap was clearly made by the throw penny bit.
I must concur, at least. The pushing a coin with some force into a poor quality bar of soap such as this is a remarkable simple way of replicating the coin's shape. And then you can use, well, some melted wax or something to pour into the mouth. You can make fake coins in no time.
This brings all the pieces of the puzzle together. It's the method Mr. Shamster has been using to steal the gas. That's the missing link. And now, if I follow the chain of thought, it's going to bring me to a new explanation for what happened that nobody's considered yet. But this is all nonsense. If the man had been making fake coins, my workers here would have found them when he emptied the meter.
Quite true, Lady Altamont. In the absence of some black magic that could make them disappear. I see. That's what we're dealing with, is it? There is one form of black magic that could cause the fake coins to disappear into thin air, yes.
Exactly. And the meter here gives it away. What on earth?
There's a remnant of the magical method used visible on the gas meter taken from the victim's room. If that is your assertion, counsel, the fans would identify the remnants of the coin at once. Where on the meter can remnants be used to make fake coins disappear, be seen? Wait, what? Where on the meter can the remnants method... We're talking about this, right? Hold up, let me double check. Where on the meter can the remnants of the method used to be fake coins disappear be seen? Here? That's all I got. I don't know anything else. Let's afford to strike, if anything.
Got it!
We found this bar of soot at the scene of the crime, just outside the victim's window. Outside?
Yes, outside where you yourself, Mr. Meterman, were loitering in the freezing winter air. That's where we found this soap.
Ah, I get it.
That's right. The answer, of course, is ice.
Did you say ice?
Mr. Shamsbury has been leaving soaps like this outside his window each evening filled with water. After a night outside in the bitter cold, the water is completely frozen solid the next morning. Then he takes his fake coins of ice and feeds them into the gas meter, giving him light and warmth in spades. As his room becomes very comfortably warm, the ice now inside the meter coin box melts, turning back into water and draining harmlessly away through the small hole made in the underside of the meter. That is how, without leaving any evidence of his wrongdoing, this man has been stealing Altamont gas.
Yes?
Just like that, so simply. Is he trying to make us look like idiots? He's been fooling us all around with some bar of soap and some water.
That's right, madam.
I don't believe it. It can't be true. Do you have any idea how much money we spent to develop that new meter? And now you have the audacity to suggest that a bit of soap and some water can render it totally useless?
I'm fairly sure I didn't design it.
Evidence! Sorry? I want evidence. If you're suggesting to stand there and tell me our meters are rubbish, I want to see proof. She's very good at forcing accountability, isn't she?
Very well, Lady Altamont. If you like evidence, I'll provide it.
Mr. Naruhodo, are you saying you do actually have evidence to support the theory?
I did notice a trace of something that bothered me a little at the time. And I have a feeling this theory we've come up with now could explain it. This piece of evidence assassinates the theory about how Mr. Shamspeare has been stealing gas.
Take that!
This is a photograph of the scene at the point when the victim was discovered, taken by Inspector Gregson. It clearly shows the remnants of the crime carried out by Shamspeare. What remnants? Here you can see the gas meter on the wall in Mr. Shamspeare's room. Now, look closely at the floorboards directly underneath the meter.
What is that? Some kind of grubby stain?
Almost certainly it's water stain resulting from the liquid that drained out the hole made in the meter. If one coin gives around 2 hours of gas usage and the occupant was heating his room in all his waking hours, we can imagine he could have used around 10 of his fake coins each day. The melting ice inside the meter coin box would have been dripping out almost constantly, leaving a stain on the floor.
This is awful.
And there's further evidence too. Mr. Shamspeare slept over his table, apparently having consumed the poison. And right there next to him is a bar of soap, broken in half.
You're right.
It would appear to me then, Counsel, that the man was eating the soap, was he? Pardon me for disagreeing with you, your lordship, but certainly not.
He didn't beat about the bush there, did he?
In truth, Mr. Shamspeare was found with a fork in his hand. A meal of soap is sounding increasingly likely, Lord Von. Don't you mean to say he was using that fork to... Yes. To extract the frozen coin from the bar of soap.
But the bar broke in half. So perhaps it didn't go very well.
Good gracious. Here we go again.
Lord Von Zykes?
I was throwing my hand up in despair, and happened to catch my hollow bottle on the way. Pray forgive my maladroit mistake. What is the meaning of this, Counsel? Allow me to pose my learned friend a question. What exactly did you establish with your most recent cross-examination?
Well...
It's back to the thing. What was the point of this?
That Mr. William Shamspeare is a liar and a thief. In other words, that his testimony is unreliable.
That's it. That's exactly it. Very well. Let us assume the man is a liar. Now, allow me to pose another question. What possible difference does that make? Well, we know that suicide can be discounted. Scotland Yard's investigation revealed no sign of another vessel that contained poison. And on the night in question, there were no visitors to the room except the accused. The young gasman's testimony, which we have no reason to doubt, has confirmed that. Furthermore, the only possible way the poison could have entered the victim's body is via the tea. The court has seen no evidence whatsoever that suggests otherwise. Even if William Shamspeare is the liar you claim him to be, these facts have been objectively established. There's no escaping it. Therefore, in light of these facts, a prosecution calls for immediate adjudication. You... What? Order, order! Well, Counsel, how does the defense respond?
Mr. Naruhodo, what was the point of that last cross-examination? Did it actually get us anywhere? Or did it make no difference at all, like Lord Von Zych is saying? No! This isn't over! The fence will not rest!
What? But Counsel, you've successfully explained everything. You've identified and substantiated the unscripturalist method employed by Mr. Shamsi to consume gas. One more is to discuss.
Lord Von Zych just highlighted 3 facts in order to make his point. On contrary to what he would have... Oh my god, that's loud outside! Contrary to what he would have the court believe, not at all have been objectively established at all.
What are you trying to say, my Nipponese friend?
At least one of those so-called facts is an assumption, made due to the lack of evidence. But the situation has changed now, following the cross-examination of the latest witness to take the stand.
Don't be absurd. What is this nonsense?
Yes, when you bring everything we've learned so far together and consider it as a whole, it's clear. There's a question that we now need to reconsider, namely...
I don't know, Chief.
We established that there was no one there. We established that there was no one there. He had a 3-hour gap. I have no idea. I don't know. We got it right? We've all been led to believe that the poison that afflicted Mr. Shamspear was in the tea brought to him by Mr. Natsume. But that's conjecture at best.
Objection!
The victim has testified that nothing else passed his lips that night. There is no other possibility. And since there was no trace of tea left in the scene, it couldn't be tested for traces of poison.
As I said, the situation has changed. Because in fact, some of Mr. Natsume's tea was left on the scene. And a particular piece of evidence proves it.
A ludicrous claim, Scotland Yard detectives invested the scene exhaustively. What evidence are you suggesting they missed? The defense has made a bold claim indeed. Very well, counsel. Present your proof. What evidence from the scene of the crime can you tell us about the nature of the defendant's tea?
I don't know. There is no tea ring on the inside Mr. Natsume's cup. Oh, we didn't even thoroughly check that one. Hold up. This must be a cup that Mr. Shamshu was drinking from then. The stain on the inside. Tea does that, I'm afraid. Even green tea. Oh, really? I've never noticed before. You've never noticed? Well, I never leave it on the cup long enough to leave a mark. I like to gulp it down. Drink tea while it's hot. That's the Japanese way, isn't it? Oh dear, so many people seem to have forgotten the wrong idea about our culture, and most of them are Japanese. Yo. What's this then? What evidence from the scene of the crime can tell us about the nature of the defendant's tea? I don't know. What the hell is this? Oh, that's his hat. There's a small quantity of poison toxic effects present 30 minutes of the highlighted liquid substance being mixed with the tea. I don't know this. That's all I'm thinking of.
Take that!
What exactly is the piece of evidence supposed to reveal about Natsume's counsel?
Well, I suspect it may possibly be related to the tea in some way if we dig deeper.
Then you will be digging it for a long time indeed, my learned friend.
Oh!
Okay, pause right there. Pause it right there. And I have no idea what I'm going with this. I don't know.
Take that!
A soap? Again? The same bar the victim used to fashion his coins of ice?
Yes, that's right, my lord. It's just come back to me. Something about when we first found this bar of soap at the scene yesterday. It's more bars of soap. Soap? What are bars of soap doing lined up in the ledge? I have no idea what kind of reasoning I was going with it. I'm quite certain that when we originally stumbled upon the bars of soap, there was actually a frozen coin in each bar. So you discovered these gas thieves' coin factory? Fascinating. In a way, yes, but there's more. The coins we found in the soap at the time weren't normal ice.
There was something strange about them, you mean?
Exactly, something very obviously strange. They were red.
The ice was red? No, you mean...
That's right, it's obvious to me now. The fake coins in the soap were made from frozen tea. Huh? I remind the court of the statement made by Mr. Knotsbury earlier in the trial.
That evening, yes, I did take some refreshing brewed tea with me when I visited Mr. Shamsbury's room as a gift. The public water pump outside always freezes at night, so I bought bottled water especially to make it. And this is the result. Never will I touch tea again. Ah, yes, I believe there had been snowfall that day. It was particularly cold. Sadly, on such occasions, the poorly constructed water mains in the East End are prone to freezing.
So on the night in question, Mr. Shamsbury, having no running water to use, was forced to use the tea brought by Mr. Knotsbury in order to make the fake coins. There were 2 bars of soap on the windows ledge when my judicial assistant and I investigated the scene. That's right, and we only borrowed 1 of them. Which means, even as we speak, some of the defendant's tea is still present at the scene of the crime, frozen solid in a bar of soap outside Mr. Shamsbury's window.
Extraordinary!
Earlier today, Inspector Gregson informed the court that if even 1 drop of tea remained, Scotland Yard would be able to analyze it for poison. As such, we are now in position to prove or disprove that what has until now been mere conjecture, by finding out for sure whether or not Mr. Knotsbury's tea actually contained poison at all.
You smug nipple knees.
My lord, we cannot do the defendant the injustice of passing judgment now. The police should be dispatched to recover the remaining bar of soap from the scene at once, and the defense requests a thorough analysis of the frozen tea embedded in it, to determine whether or not it contains any poison.
Bailiff, instruct the police to attend the scene at once.
And with that, we'll go on a recess.
It would seem we have no choice but to suspend these proceedings for the time being. I trust you have no objection, my lord Von Sykes? None, my lord. Scotland Yard will recover the tea from the scene and carry out the requested tests immediately. The trial will resume at the same hour tomorrow. The prosecution and defense may conduct further investigation as appropriate in the interim.
Yes, my lord. Oh. So we get a part 2 then. Well, we managed to scrap through some there somehow, some way.
Thank you for counsel. Court is adjourned until tomorrow.